You'll be dancing soon, Etienne.
It's the wine that do the singing. So I can do the dancing.
I'm pleased because you should be dancing. You should be dancing.
Riesling, not riesling. Riesling. Jancis Robinson, the celebrated master of wine, writer for the Financial Times, puts this grape above anything else. So people should pay more attention to Riesling and possibly to Alsace Riesling and Hugel Riesling.
Indeed, indeed.
So Riesling is the most celebrated grape variety in the Rhine Valley, and Alsace is nothing else than the southernmost wine region on the Rhine Valley, which means with the warmest climate.
Yeah.
We have this fantastic mosaic of terroir, which is why we have such a diversity of style of wines in Alsace, predominantly dry. But so Riesling is our most celebrated grape, but we're also known for our Gewürztraminer, for our Pinot Gris, for our Muscat, so highly white wine, highly aromatic, just one red Pinot Noir. And Riesling comes in many different expressions in Alsace. I would say the vast majority of the Rieslings in Alsace are dry, fully fermented, which is the main difference with most German Riesling. So with riper climates, we can ripen the grapes to a higher level, therefore higher sugar, natural sugar content in the grapes, lower acidity, and we can make the wine in the French way, so wines to be food friendly. So our Riesling are not wines to sip outside a meal, they are wines to pair with food.
Sure.
And I know people in this country are now, I've always been obsessed with Chablis, one of the greatest elegant, steely, mineral white Burgundies.
Yeah.
Now the mood has turned to New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc.
Sure, sure.
Just like the rugby, but don't leave the French out. Riesling is a little bit left behind, but it's one of the most world-class, greatest white grape variety.
Yeah.
It's amazingly food-friendly. People that have their oysters with Chablis, that have their seafood with Sauvignon Blanc, they should really forget their prejudgment.
Sure.
They should forget about all their thought things of Riesling and just taste the wine without being influenced by the label, without prejudging the wines. These wines are as mineral, have a tremendous pedigree, especially when they come from some of the best vineyards in Alsace. I like to mention this.
Yeah, sure.
So, Hugel Family Companies, hugel.com website, visit our website. Family company since 12 generations, 370, I'm the 12th generation. So, sort of a household name in the UK because we've spent a lot of time promoting our wines in this country. So, we produce different levels of Riesling. This is our classic Hugel Riesling. This is very easily available in many. Of course, only on trade, some of the best wine merchants, not a bottle in supermarkets, also the wine society and so on. Yeah. And then we produce a quality level called Tradition. So Tradition with this special thing here.
Yeah.
And then from our best vineyards, what we call Jubilee. This comes from Grand Cru Chenin.
Yeah.
So one of the most celebrated Riesling vineyard in Alsace.
Yeah.
That has been famous for hundreds of years for making one of the most one of the greatest Alsace Riesling with fantastic longevity, amazing minerality.
Yeah.
Here we tasted vintage 2007, which was picked on Jancis Robinson's website, jancisrobinson.com. Jancis writes the weekly column in the Financial Times.
Yeah.
After visiting 10 of the top producers in Alsace, tasting hundreds of wine, this was the wine of the week. So Riesling Jubilee 2005.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, tell me, there's a lot of changes in Alsace with the ripening conditions. You've been talking about how it's becoming perhaps the vintages are coming earlier rather than later.
Absolutely.
And how's that affecting?
There's no question there's been climatic changes.
Sure.
Right? In average, we pick now 3 weeks earlier than 30 years ago. So it's tremendous climate change.
Yeah.
As we are quite north in latitude, our concern 30 years ago was to properly ripen the grapes. 30 years ago, in a decade of the 60s, for instance, you had 63, 65, 68, 3 off years, which nowadays would be unsellable.
Yeah.
So these we have because they were off years because the grapes simply did not ripen well enough to make a half decent wine. So this has totally been erased because of the climatic changes. We pick again 3 weeks earlier. We can fully ripen the grapes every year.
Yeah.
So now the main risk for us having an off year, as it was in 2006, is early rain. We had in 2006, unfortunately, 10 days before the start of harvest, almost Singaporean weather. Hot, humid, with a lot of rain. And there was nothing to stop the onset of rot and so on. The only concern is sometimes when the weather is too hot, when we have like in 2003 an excessively warm summer, then the growing season is too short and the intensity of aromas is not enough to have this intensity in the wines. But I would say other than 2006, in the last years, 2005, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2000, we're just completing our 2011 vintage, which is going to be another fantastic vintage. So I think Alsace needs to be rediscovered. Once upon a time they were very popular in this country, like German wines.
Sure.
They've fallen out of fashion, and I think the wines represent tremendous value. So people should reconsider putting a Riesling at their table, because those wines are some of the most food-friendly wines you can find.
And it's interesting too, because you're doing the Gentil, which is a blend of aromatics. Have we got
Gentil, a gentle wine at a gentle price. Even I can afford it. I don't know the price. You have to blame it on your Chancellor's duty, most of the price in the UK, but it's a fantastic wine to bring new people to the wines of Alsace. Gentil is an old name that was in use in Alsace until the 1920s. Was actually this wine, Gentil, was served at my grandparents' wedding in 1921.
Oh, wow.
So there was an old tradition of blending, and it meant blend of noble grapes. So this tradition almost disappeared, and we had the idea 20 years ago to revive that name and that style of wine. So this is a blend of Riesling, Gewürztraminer, Pinot Gris, Muscat, the 4 best grapes, about 60%, and a base of Silvaner. So people that are intimidated by Riesling, Gewürztraminer, it's a good way to come back to be introduced to our wines.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, superb. And finally, Rugby World Cup. Oh, who's going to win it?
Let me read in my, how do you say, the
crystal ball.
Crystal ball. I think you cannot be very proud of your team here. England did not play such amazing rugby.
No.
The after rugby action was a little more French than you usually expected in this country.
Indeed.
If I may say. So I think this Saturday, France playing England will be very, very interesting.
Indeed.
So it will show whose team mentally is going to be the strongest, because both can play great rugby. We know the French can play great rugby, but it doesn't need to be against the All Blacks all the time. We would love to meet the All Blacks in the final, make no mistake. If we do, but maybe there's 1 or 2 hurdles to cross before that.
So you're leaving your options open?
No, may the best team win. I think both teams have not shown much compared to what the Welsh and the Irish have shown.
Yeah, sure.
Even the Italians have shown better, spirit, fighting spirit. So now the ball is in. You won't need to wear a black jersey for us to beat you.
Congratulations! Thank you very much. Oh, that's superb.